Americans are often depicted as being fat, materialistic, and somewhat stupid. And that is 100% true. In this video, I'm going to explain the most common American stereotypes. I'll tell you which ones are true, which ones are not, and the reason why they exist. I'm Benji, and on this channel, we learn English through interesting topics. Number 1, we got obese, unhealthy eaters. Americans are often shown as consuming large quantities of fast food, sugary drinks, and processed snacks. This stereotype is pretty accurate. Of course, there are a lot of people in my country that are obsessed with being healthy and they eat good foods. They don't eat out at, McDonald's. But for the majority of my people, that's not really the case. I mean, about 43% of all Americans are obese. This problem started to really grow in the 70s and 80s when fast food chains were coming out with new marketing techniques, package deals, and of course, at a time when people were doing less physical work while they were working. Stereotype number 2, we're obsessed with cars. We are often shown as being car lovers, preferring big vehicles and driving all of the time, even for short distance trips. And again, this stereotype is 100% accurate. In my hometown, for example, there's really no place to walk. You need a car to get from your house to your job or from your house to the store. This all really started after World War II, when the American economy was booming. It was progressing very fast, and buying cars became a way of showing our wealth. Not to mention the fact that around the same time, all of the big highways started getting built, which gave people the opportunity to be able to go farther from their home to get to a job that would pay better. Stereotype number 3, that we're materialistic and have a culture of consumerism. We are often seen as being big consumers and too focused on material goods. And again, that's 100% accurate. I mean, just look at our culture of gambling, get-rich-quick schemes, and the tons of debt that everybody is in just to make themselves look richer than they are. The average person doesn't own their house, doesn't own their car, and many of them don't even own their phone. People use loans or debt to buy all of these things so that people will see them as more successful than they are. This again became a big thing after World War II, when people had a lot of extra money laying around, and they decided to use their money to get a refrigerator in the house, get a new radio, get a new car. And at the same time, massive stores started giving credit or loans. This made for the perfect situation for marketers to convince people to buy way more than what they needed. And those habits were brought down generation to generation. Number 4, a lack of geographical knowledge. We're often depicted or stereotyped as being people who have no idea what is going on in the world outside of the United States. And I would say, in general, this is absolutely true. However, a caveat. From my experience, talking with people from all around the world, most people don't have a really good grasp on the geography of the world. And to prove this, when I wrote this script, I asked my Mexican girlfriend to name 10 countries in Africa. She couldn't. Then I asked my brother to name 10 countries in Africa. He could. You see, it's random. It's just that some people are interested in geography and some people aren't. So I will say the stereotype is correct, but I don't think we're that much worse than a lot of the world. Number 5, we're stereotyped as being gun enthusiasts. And that is partly true, but it depends on what part of the United States you're talking about. In California, they don't love their guns nearly as much as the people in Texas do. And from town to town, that can change a lot as well. So if we're comparing the United States versus France, yeah, we love our guns. But it's more nuanced than that. The history behind this truth is our founding fathers, the people that fought the British to get the country we have today. They looked at government as a cancer that would always grow and grow until it kills its host. And the only way for the people to defend themselves was with weapons. They told us that it would be important, that one day we would have to revolt against our government and overthrow it just as they had done. So yeah, we take guns pretty seriously. Stereotype number 6, that we're overconfident or arrogant. This is true, and I hate to admit it, but it's true. So many people in our country think that it is the greatest country in the world and that no other country has opportunities like us. If you were to tell an American how many millionaires come from Mexico or Indonesia, they would laugh and think that you are joking. They simply wouldn't believe you. They do not think that there's any opportunity for anyone in any place but the United States. So this is absolutely true, and it is something I hate about my country and my people. Number 7, that we have a lack of foreign language skills. I think this is absolutely true, and my explanation, just a guess, is that they think, well, if every other country is garbage and is not worth living in, why would I learn another language? So yeah, they suck at foreign languages. Me being able to speak Spanish is unthinkable for my family. I'm the only one in my family, and I'm one of 2 Americans that I've met in my life that speak a second language fluently. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Number 8, loud tourists. When traveling abroad, Americans can sometimes be easily identified by how loudly they speak. From my experience, this is absolutely accurate. I've been here in Mexico for 6 months, and the most annoying people that I have had to deal with were Americans. I mean, it seems like when they travel, they get more annoying. I don't know if it's because they're getting drunk and forgetting their manners, or if they just think they're the center of the universe and they can act however they'd like. But this stereotype, from my perspective, it ain't a stereotype. It's a disgusting truth. And honestly, it sometimes makes me feel ashamed to be American. Now, let's look at some stereotypes that I hear often that I think are not real. For example, that we are really big fans of sports. My opinion on this is there's a lot of Americans that are. However, having been to 2 countries, I think it seems just about equal. I think there are many countries that are just as big of fans of sports. According to Gemini, only 70% of Americans consider themselves sports fans. And, well, I'm part of that 30% that does not. And although I've seen a lot of people who love their sports, I've seen a heck of a lot of Americans that do not. Number 10, that we're super friendly, but superficial. So Americans are stereotyped as being very friendly to people, even if they don't know them. I think this depends more on context than anything. But when we're talking about small talk, like let's say you're visiting my country, and I am very friendly to you in the street, and we don't know each other, and we're not friends, we're never going to be friends, but I'm nice to you. That's just a cultural thing, and it's not ingenuous on my part to be nice to you. If you'd like to learn about small talk in my country, check out this video that I just did on the subject. But yeah, for some cultures, this might seem ingenuine, but I don't think so. I think it's just a nice way to be civil and enjoy a short conversation with somebody that you may never see again. Stereotype number 11, that we're super religious or evangelical. From my experience, the United States is not a Christian country. If you know any Americans, here's a test. Ask them to name 5 biblical prophets and 2 verses from the Bible. And I guarantee that at least 80% of the people that call themselves Christians won't be able to. I grew up in various churches, and I'll tell you that most of the Christians here are something we call Sunday Christians. We call them Sunday Christians because they're only Christians on Sunday. They'll go to church, but after that, that will be the only time in their week that they hear the word God. To give credit where credit is due, though, I will say the Muslim community, the Amish, the Mennonite, and the Jehovah's Witnesses seem to be a little bit more religious on average in comparison to the Protestants, the Catholics, and the many branches that fall under them. Stereotype number 12, that we're workaholics. This is not true as much as it used to be. You know, over the last 60 years, the working culture has changed a lot. Opportunities for normal, everyday workers have gotten worse. It's gotten harder to buy a home, a car, etc. Benefits and salaries have gotten worse, and the family dynamic has as well. Because of these changes, the average person has become a lot less interested in work. However, there still are many people that are. For example, when I worked as an electrician, I worked with many people who took pride in working 60, 70 hours a week, doing hard labor and skipping holidays and family time to continue working. And again, this is all a perspective thing. So if we're comparing the United States with France, yeah, we probably are workaholics. But if you compare the United States with Mexico, we're probably just average. And the last one, stereotype number 13, that we're overly patriotic. Well, we used to be. No, but for real, this is changing too. I mean, the internet has allowed people like me and my family to see videos of our military committing murder against children, dogs even, in foreign countries that we know we don't belong. Not to mention that practically my whole generation knows that 9/11 was a hoax, that it was an inside job, and that the moon landing never happened. So while the older people will still be waving their flags, my generation will not. I hope that you enjoyed learning about American stereotypes from an American, and hopefully you've learned some vocabulary along the way. The flashcards with the vocabulary mentioned in this video will be in the description. It was a pleasure seeing you again, friend. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.